Let's say you decide to make dinner. So you go into the kitchen, grab some food from the fridge, put it on the countertop, go to the stove, turn on one of the burners, let's say the front burner. And then you go ahead and start to chop up some of the veggies, but you want to make sure that that burner is hot or hot enough to put oil on so that you can saute some of these veggies. So you take your finger and you put it directly on the burner to see if it's hot. Obviously it's going to be hot and you're going to burn your finger. That wasn't the smart thing to do. There are much easier and less painful ways to check to see if that burner is hot. So fast forward to the next day. You want to make dinner again. Do the same thing. Food out of the fridge, turn the burner on, chop up some veggies, and you want to make sure that that burner is hot. So regardless of what happened the day before, without even having that in mind, you take your finger and put it on the burner again. And lo and behold, you burn your finger again. Fast forward the next time. Do the same thing. Food out of the fridge, chop up some veggies, turn the burner on. Want to make sure it's hot, and what do? Guess. Take your finger and put it on the burner, and you burn yourself a third time. Okay, stay with me here, because I know you're probably wondering or asking yourself the question, what's the significance of this? What does it all mean? But when you think about it, this person each day kept getting that same result. They didn't think that they were going to burn themselves, so they would check the stove with their finger. Even after the first time where they burnt themselves, felt pain, the next 2 times they still chose to use their finger to see if the burner was hot. So they did the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They did the same thing over and over by checking to see if the burner was hot and expecting not to get burnt. But each time, especially the second and third time, they burnt themselves because, the burner was hot. And that's the definition of insanity. Insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that brings me to what I really want to talk about today, and that's change. I'm talking about personal change. Change that you need to work on, or that I need to work on. Because ultimately, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And it might sound simple, because it is. Us humans like to complicate everything, when the answer is usually simple, very simple. If you want to change, you have to change. But if nothing changes, then obviously nothing changes. So yeah, you can keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But when you keep getting that same result from doing the same things, and you choose not to change, that's pretty much saying that you're insane. And I'm not saying that in the clinical term or the medical diagnosis of being clinically insane. It just means that you keep doing something, you keep saying something, you keep thinking something, wanting the result to be different, when you know that it's the same thing that keeps happening, because you keep doing, you keep saying, you keep thinking the same thing. Your patterns are the same, your habits are the same. So if you continue to do it in that fashion, then the result you're going to get is always the same. It's not going to change from when you tried it the day before, or when you thought about it a week ago, or when you tried to perform that action a month ago. Because if you don't change, if you don't try to change, or if you don't want to change, because sometimes you don't need to change certain things, but if there are aspects of your life, whether it's how you speak to somebody or some of the thoughts that you have. If you want to change that, if you want to change your mindset, your attitude, how you respond to somebody, how you interact with people, anything, if you want to change, you have to put in the work. We have to put in work, time, and effort to see that change. Change does not happen through osmosis. You can't just become a better person or evolve and grow because you hang out with somebody who is putting in the work. It does not work like that. You need to do the work yourself. You need to put in that effort, that time, and that dedication to change. Because if we're lazy, if we're complacent, if we're content, and we just sit back and kind of say, this is how it is, then you're gonna get what you're gonna get. The best thing to do, the most beneficial thing that you can do for yourself, in my opinion, is to look inward, to self-reflect, to take time out, to sit down and write down things that you need to work on, whether it's mental, physical, or emotional. Because once you write them down, once you make it concrete and make it real, instead of just ideas or thoughts inside of your head, when you're actually looking at the things that you want to work on, then you hold yourself accountable. Then you can actually physically see what you need to do to become a better version of yourself. Because if not, we can make excuses. We'll get to it later. We'll do it tomorrow. I'm okay right now. But when you hold yourself accountable, when you really reflect, self-reflect on the things that you want to work on and need to work on, then you can make those changes. Because if not, then nothing's going to change. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. And it's so simple. As we get older and become adults, we love to complicate things. We love to make mountains out of molehills. We just like to bring obstacles and challenges into our life that don't need to be there. And a lot of these messages and slogans are childlike. They're very, very simple. They're messages that we would tell to a child a lot of times. But when you look at those messages, they hold great wisdom. And when you try to internalize it and you try to use those messages in your own life and live by what they say, then life becomes a lot easier. We get in our own way. We complicate things. But it's simple. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you choose to change and you put in the work to change, then ding, 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 you'll change because you'll put in that work. You'll dedicate time and effort to changing. And that's where you see the growth. That's where you see yourself evolve. And that's where you see yourself becoming a better version of you. One day at a time, 1 hour at a time, even 1 minute at a time. But the progress is there. And it'll happen. We all just need to put in the work. I'm honestly not sure how many times I actually said, if nothing changes, nothing changes. But that's because I really want to hammer that message home to you. I really want it to become embedded in your brain and make a home in your mind so that you remember it, so that you really and truly understand and grasp that message. Because even though it's simple, it means so much. It can free you of so much burden. It can free you of so much pain and anger and frustration that a lot of times we inflict upon ourselves. We self-sabotage. We feel like we may not deserve a better life. So why change? Just be what you are. Stay where you are and do what you're doing. But like I said before, with that mindset, then you're just going to get what you continue to get, and it stays the same. So remember it. Use it. Write it down if you have to. Some people say they write little affirmations or messages on their mirror. So when they wake up in the morning and they're looking at themselves in the mirror, they also see that message. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And you owe it to yourself. I sure know that I owed it to myself to change, because I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to be who I truly, truly knew I could be. And that's a better person, a loving person, a kind person, a caring person. So take that time, put in the effort, and start a little at a time. But make those changes. Be mindful, be conscious, be aware of the things you need to change, and start the process. There's honestly no better time than right now. Right now, this moment, you can start changing. You can start changing the things that you know you need to change to evolve and to grow and to be a better version of yourself. So why wait? If not now, when? And if not you, who? So do it. Do it for yourself. If nobody else, do it for yourself at first, and then you'll benefit. And everybody around you will benefit, because you will be your true self. You will be the person you were meant to be when you were put on this earth. I really hope there's something, even one thing that I said, that resonates with you, that you can use, that you will remember and try to incorporate in your life. Because I'm here because I want to help you. I want to help people. And in doing so, I help myself. Because unlike a lot of things that we hear out in the world, us versus them, you versus me, it's not about that. It's about us in it together. And I'm just here lending my voice, putting out my hand, and saying, I can help you, or I can try to help you. But you need to listen. And then after you listen, you need to take it with you and actually put in the time and the effort. Because then and only then will you see that change. And then and only then will you give yourself that chance, that opportunity that you deserve to be a better version of yourself. Make today the day. Make this moment that moment that you decide to start changing. That you decide to live the life that you want to live. But to do so, it's necessary to start that process of changing. Because like I said, and like I hope you remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So give yourself that chance and make those changes. Make those necessary changes that will allow you, that will afford you the opportunity to be the person that you've always wanted to be the person that you strive to be the person that you deserve to be. Have an amazing day, everybody. Have a blessed day. Always remember to be grateful. Be grateful for this moment. And this moment right here is the moment where you can make that decision. The decision to start changing. Changing the things that you know you need to work on to help you become a better version of yourself. And there's no better time than now in this moment. So recognize this moment, be grateful for this moment, and smile. Always remember to smile.